Hey guys, this week we're actually kind of back at Miss B. Say hi, Miss B.
Hello there.
The kids are out here playing on the swing set that we fixed at the end of that video. Say hi, Jerk Squad.
Hi, Jerk Squad.
They're not going to be in the video, but I told them they could say hi. We're going to go back and see what Muff Dog's up to. There he is. Perfect. Now, Mr. Dog, what is it that you're doing for Miss B here today?
Taking care of some of these problem mulberry trees, and then I'm going to clean up these apple trees so they're good and healthy. And I'm going to get rid of that brush pile from her piling it up there for a little while. And I'm probably going to help you if you need it.
Because he's a good dude. Thanks, buddy. We're going to go change the wax ring on her toilet. So here's the situation. That's a toilet, and that's water around the base of the toilet. So I've deduced that the ring underneath the toilet, probably from all the kids bouncing around and stuff, because this isn't in-home daycare, has deteriorated to the point that it's leaking. So the solution, originally was to get a thick reinforced wax ring. It's the same as any other wax ring, only it's thicker and has a reinforcement ring inside, hence the name. Because that's what you want in a situation like this, where there's going to be a lot of movement on the toilet or more weight on the toilet. But my go-to hardware spot on this side of town was out of the thick reinforced rings. But they did have these. The green gasket. Not only is it my favorite color, but it's also a product I've used before. Skeptically, I'll add. But I never got called back from any of the customers that I've put them in for. So I assume they work just fine. And they're stackable, I learned today, reading the packaging. Still skeptical, even though I've never been called back to replace one. So that will give us the thickness we're after. It's not going to give us the reinforcement we're after, but I submit that as these are foam and not wax, they will shape memory. What's the word for that? Something memory, not memory foam, but the same concept where if they lean this way, it'll get squished down, but when they sit back up, it will retain its shape. There. That's what I was after. So I think 2 of these stacked will be an adequate solution. So that is what I'll be doing this morning. But who am I? Well, if you don't know, the answers you seek are right in here. Now, since we're going to make this kind of a how-to video, items you will need are your new ring or adequately reviewed substitute, crescent wrench and or pliers. I also like to keep I call it my pocket locks because they're pocket channel locks that I keep in my pocket. You want to have those handy. Items I highly recommend: gloves, good sturdy gloves. I also recommend grocery bags. We'll get to why in a minute for your trash, but we'll use this to pull the old ring, and I'll show you what for. And I also recommend a flashlight. And gotta stay hydrated. So, step 1, glove up if you wanna. Weirdos. Step 2, shut off the water. Hopefully your toilet will have something like this under and behind it. This is your shutoff valve. So you want to turn that clockwise, lefty loosey, righty tighty, clockwise to shut it off. Then you have options. This particular situation has a DIY bidet installed too. So you can disconnect up here, you can disconnect all the water lines, or you can simply just disconnect down here. Now, as this is meant to just be hand tight, disconnect that away. Oh, I almost forgot. Before you disconnect, flush the toilet to empty the tank. Once the tank is empty, now you can disconnect your thing. Now there's going to be some residual water in the line. One of the items I forgot to mention on your optional list, towels and rags. From there, we turn our attention to the nuts. This is where your adjustable crescent wrench or pliers or channel locks will come in. Now sometimes you may run into a problem where the bolt is spinning with the nut. As you loosen it, you'll have to get a pair of needle nose pliers or small enough other tool to get in and grab the bolt with one hand and hold it in place while you turn the wrench. Luckily for us, this is not that scenario. Hopefully, I can't remember now, it's been so long since I did the floor for her. Hopefully, I put a flange in and didn't screw these directly to the floor. I'm gonna switch over to the channel locks. There we go. This is one of the reasons for your grocery bags. Trash. Also optional, about halfway through taking the toilet off, you can pop in the window and check on your buddy. He's out there somewhere. Oh, there he is. A muff dog in his natural habitat. Outdoors. Now I can't get the camera behind the toilet, but you're just gonna have to trust me that I'm doing the same thing on the other side. This is also where your optional flashlight comes in handy. Now that we're disconnected, we're gonna take the lid off of the tank so it doesn't fall and break on us. Now you're going to want to essentially straddle the toilet and you're going to grip right here where the bolts go through for the toilet lid. Get your hands around that firmly and kind of pick up on it once to see where your center is so you can be balanced. Once you know where you can have your hands to have this thing balanced, then lift your knees, pick up, rotate. From there you have options. You can lay a towel on the ground, or what I've always done in my construction job is we put it in the bathtub. That way, if any water does come out during the process, most of it just goes down the drain. So once again, straddle bowl, find balance, lift straight up. Try to keep it as straight as possible. I've also laid a towel down to catch some of the water. Once you get it over the tub, just gently, gently, gently set it straight down. And there, half the battle is over. Again, now the towels come in handy. And grocery bag, just like you're picking up dog poopy. Use it like a glove. Use it around your hand. There's going to be, in most cases, you see this black flange right here. That's not part of your plumbing, that's part of the wax ring. See right here? You can kind of see part of it too. They mold the wax around this, and that's how you center it in the hole. So take your optionally bagged, but highly recommended, hand. Inside, you'll feel a lip of that flange. Not very far down, just like that far down. Pull up on that, and ideally, it will take most of the wax with it, if not all. What I then like to do is go around with the bag and just kind of pinch and grab the wax as I go to get it out of there. In this case, we're taking the bolts with it. And then there, because this wax is really thick and it's almost impossible to clean off. That's why I recommend using the bag even if you have gloves on, because you don't want to get that wax all over things. It's very difficult to clean up. Now we're going to take our cleaning towel. Miss B generously donated to us. I had silicone on here at one point. It seems to have deteriorated or been picked off by the kids maybe. Okay, now that we got that all good and cleaned up, you should have instructions on your box. These guys are even kind enough to give you a handy QR code that probably takes you to a video. But you don't need that because you've got me. Aren't you so lucky? All right, next, we'll take our hardware. You should have 2 T-bolts, 2 nuts, and 2 washers. And then, best case scenario, your kit will also come with these plastic washers. These help keep bolts stable and straight up and down whilst you work. Very handy. Slide our nuts into place. It should be at exactly 9 and 3 o'clock. Get them as tight as you can, and you can turn them if you need to. You'll want to turn them counterclockwise like you're loosening them, and that will pull them up tight to the nut. Or the washer, I mean. You'll have to hold the washer in place while you do that. And that's what I'm doing here. Just a little pressure to hold the washer down, turning these counterclockwise until they're very snug. That's good enough, I guess. A little bit of play is okay, because you may have to adjust them later. Now, we place the ring down. One ring. Two rings. Actually, that hardware is going to come in handy. I'm going to do a little hack here. Steal the plastic washers from the extra bag. This is a very unique case example. 99.9% of you will not be dealing with this unless you have to double stack 2 of these. This is just a bonus step for me. It will help me line the bolts up, because if not, they're going to be inside of this ring. They're going to be harder for me to see. And it's paramount that you see them. This is where the flashlight's going to come in handy too in a minute, and why I highly recommend using one in this process. All right, we've got our floor cleaned up, because this is our only chance to clean it. We got our bolts and our rings in place. Mine are being held down with the plastic washers. So now it's time to put the toilet back in place. Same process as before. I'm alone on the camera, so I don't think I'll be able to show you both ends of activity here. Maybe.
Ricky,
Yes, ma'am.
can I get her little stool out of the tub?
Yeah, of course. Oh.
Understand.
Perfect timing. I'll have this one in probably the next 10 minutes.
Okay.
Sorry, Layla. All right. Now that the child has the child's potty, we're going to put the big potty back where it goes. So, same as before, I'd get a foot inside the tub even. Just don't trip when you step out. But find your center, lift straight up, swing over, pause, get your balance, leg out, turn down. This is why we have the flashlight, so I can see where the other bolt is. What I do is brace it against your body, and then with your body, lower it. So find one bolt and get it in. Come around to the other side, find that one, and press it in. Now, if you're doing wax, what I want you to do at this point, it's gonna be weird, I know, but just sit on the toilet like this. Just sit straight down, don't wiggle, don't hop, don't sway back and forth. Just sit straight down, put your weight kind of forward if you can, and just sit there for about 30 seconds. This will help the toilet settle into the wax, and it will save you a lot of cranking when we put the nuts on. It will also help keep you from shattering your toilet, because you'll get used to fighting that wax, tightening it down, but then when it actually gets tight, you're at risk of over tightening it and then cracking the porcelain. And if you do that, it's going to crack all the way up to the stool, then your toilet's useless. Once it's cracked, you got to get a new one. But since I'm using foam, I don't have to do that. Put our washers on either side. Start your nuts. I like to do them both at the same time, make it go faster. Once they're as finger tight as they'll go, grab your wrench or your pliers or your channel locks and get to cranking. A ratcheting wrench would be great in this scenario. I don't feel like hunting for mine though. I think they're in the car, but I'm not sure. I'm just going to go until they start to snug up. What I usually do is get one side kind of snug. Just, I mean, as soon as you start to feel a little bit of resistance on the nut, because right now it's just, it feels like you should still be able to finger tighten it. Yeah, but with my hands, I can't. There we go. That's starting to get snug now, so same with the other side. If you have an eternity to go, like I seem to have, you can go grab a deep socket wrench and do it that way. How is this thing still going? Before anyone says anything, I checked and the bolt is not spinning. I'm not sure what's going on with this thing. Okay, now that one's snug. So we come back over here. If you're not sure, oops, sorry. Not sure if you're getting too tight or not, just keep an eye where the nut meets the washer. If it starts to bend a little bit to where the washer's starting to look concave, you're there. You can also give your stool the jiggle test. If it moves, you're not there yet. So once I've got them snug, I'll go back and forth, making sure to check the washer for tightness as I go. And when I feel like it, doing the jiggle test. See, we're almost at a jiggle now. So we're getting close. If you find yourself having to really crank on the nut, stop. You shouldn't be putting a lot of leverage into it. I feel like that one's there. If it's not, it's really close. And this one's getting there. Oh, it's getting really tight now. No more wiggle. I like to push the limits, but I'm a lot more experienced than some of you guys are going to be. So don't force it. Listen to your gut. If your gut's telling you you're there, you're probably there. If you hear a crack, you've gone too far. And congratulations, you've won a new toilet at regular price. Buy one, get one at cost. He's there. Okay. And if you have the fancy type of bolts like these, they're pre-ground to allow you to just snap them off like this. If you have the fancy white caps that go over these. Miss B doesn't have hers anymore, and the kit did not come with any caps, so they're just going to have to be exposed. We can at least make it look. Because who's going to turn around and look behind the toilet, you know, against the wall to see if there's a cap on or not? I would. Okay. Both of those snapped off. Cap just sitting there. So now we're going to reattach our supply line. Getting it hand tight. And one good crank at the end to be sure. And then slowly, so it doesn't spray out everywhere, slowly turn our water back on. Check the area for leaks as you go. I'm going to pre-flush the toilet to get some water back in the bowl. What I like to do is I'll wipe this dry with a rag or some tissue. Give it a few minutes and then come back and feel it with my bare hands to feel if there's any moisture. If it's wet, then that means we don't have it tight enough or we over tightened it. If you over tightened it, congratulations, you win a new supply line at regular price that you have to go purchase yourself. Now you're going to notice, because there's usually rust in the tank from the bolts down there, water gets stirred up, so your first flush or two may be very discolored, look kind of black. Don't panic, this is totally normal. It's just the rust in the water and the buildup from your tank getting stirred up from the water being off and the toilet being jostled around. One or two flushes, it'll clear up just fine. Again, totally optional, but you can check on your buddy one more time. Yep, he's doing a good job out there. That's a good boy. We've tested it. We've checked for leaks. And everything's a hunky-dory. Now look at that and look at you. You've figured out how to replace the wax ring on your toilet all by yourself. Just with a little bit of guidance, a little help from one of your friends. I get a lot of help from my friends, and they make a lot of things possible. And that's good, because I struggle a lot, you know, like most people. Every day I'm fighting stuff with my body and with my mind. None of it that anyone else can really see, unless I'm limping or wincing or crying about it. And we don't know. We don't know what kind of battles our neighbors and friends and people we don't even know in our community are going through every day. Some of them battles that we can't even fathom fighting. Battles that would break us. So it's important to remember that our words and our actions affect the ones around us. Something you say or do could be the last straw for somebody, or it could be their saving grace. That's why here in the Jerk Squad we believe it's important to practice kindness in all of our affairs, as much as possible. It doesn't take a lot of effort, really. Not that hard. Because again, it's important to remember that we don't go to battle alone. That's why I'm glad. Hang on, I'm busy! That's why I'm glad. Come on in, Muff Dog. Speaking of friends, here's Muff Dog. We want to say that no matter whatever battles you're fighting, you're still here. And that means we're proud of you. So if nobody else has told you today, me, Baby Larry, and old Muff Dog are going to tell you that you doing a good job. And we love you, bye. What do you want for Christmas? That was perfect timing, man.
I got everything I need, Mom.
You're drunk, Daddy.
Thank you, baby.